about to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions.
Hi guys, this is The Ordinary Man, Step by Step, episode 21 we're up to. I keep getting the episodes wrong whenever I start recording. So again, just a quick intro, I suppose, for anybody who hasn't heard what this podcast is or anything about it. It's your first time listening. What it essentially is, so my name is Tommy Courtney. What I'm doing is I'm documenting the process of what I am doing to try and take an idea that I had, I suppose 2 years ago now nearly, and trying to convert that into a successful business. So again, as I keep saying all the time, it's not I'm not here to give wisdom or give advice or give hints and tips or anything like that, because to be quite honest, I don't have the experience to do so. It is literally me documenting in all the gory details of what I'm doing. Some things might be right, some things might be wrong, some things might be crazy altogether for people that are listening who have been through the process successfully already, but this is what I'm doing. So so that's really it. So we're up to episode 21. Haven't done a podcast since last Friday. Last Friday as well was the first episode we did with a new segment. So what we actually did as well is, and we're going to hopefully continue to do it because I really enjoyed it, was to bring on founders of startup companies who are probably at the same, I suppose, stage as ourselves, still relatively early, a year, 2 years up and running, and give them the opportunity to, I suppose, to tell us their story so far, and I suppose the main piece of that theme and that segment is to find out what they've done in the last 7 days to try and move their business forward. So we had Alan O'Byrne from Unibrows on with us on Friday. We had a really, really good chat. I suppose we were winging it because it was the first podcast we've done with anybody else on it except for myself. So really, really good, really interesting to hear their background and what they're doing to try and get their business up and running, and had a great chat. Really, for me, selfishly, the devil is in the details. So I want to be hearing from these founders about what they're doing practically, like on a day-to-day basis. So that's where the theme of the 7 days with is coming out of. So really, really good, really interesting. It's been the most listened to podcast that I've done. So that shows that people don't want to really be fucking listening to me. It's more listening to me as well as I suppose more so other founders and them telling their story. So I'm hoping to try and do that once a week. That's the aim anyway. So if there is any founders out there or entrepreneurs who are starting a business, get in touch and we'll get you on to the podcast to tell you a bit of a story and I suppose hopefully try and get a bit more exposure for you. But it was really, really interesting, really nice fella, and we will be keeping track of, I suppose, where they're going in the future. So other than that, for myself, didn't get up to too much, to be brutally honest, over the weekend. I've been struggling a fair bit with I suppose the way the market's going. So again, just to give anybody an idea of what the business is that I'm doing, it's called Property Basecamp. So what we basically do is we provide rental accommodation here in Dublin to relocating business professionals. And we do all that through our digital application called Property Basecamp. So what we're doing is we're working with the local property agents here, the likes of Sherry Fitzgerald and D&G and Hooker McDonald, who are advertising their properties on our app, and then we give access to the app to our clients. I suppose my concern is what you've raised before is again the continued lack of available rental properties. It seems to be getting more prevalent and more of an issue week on week, and obviously that has a direct impact on our business. So that's just something I'm very, very, I suppose, conscious of at the minute, and I suppose I'm very conscious of the impact now of what our business potentially could have in the market, not necessarily in a positive way, which I'm really, really struggling with, to be honest. So I can't really say too much about that, but it's just been a bit of a challenging, I suppose, couple of weeks, but it's becoming more prevalent now. But hopefully I'll be able to speak a little bit more about that in the future. So in regards to today, so basically continue to update the properties that we have available to us on the app. We've got some employees actually looking at the app now to try and secure accommodation. So we just need to make sure that the properties we have are up to date and they are actually available at this point in time. Did that this morning, and then I had I met with a buddy of mine who's home from Australia. So we had a good chat, just a bit of a catch up, nothing to do with work. Spoke a little bit about work, but more so just a bit of a catch up. She nearly fell off her chair. We were in Dundrum when she seen Amy Huberman, but she didn't have the balls to go up and say hello. So that was this morning. Then went into town, had a call with the IDA, with Amy from the IDA, we've been missing each other just the last couple of weeks. That she's been out of office, some for business. So we had set up a call for today, just to get, I suppose, for her to get an understanding of what we do, and I suppose anybody who doesn't know what the IDA do, they look at bringing companies and foreign direct investment into Ireland. So obviously, if there's companies coming in, we would be hoping to be able to help them, help their employees secure rental accommodation. So Amy deals with high growth startups. So again, just going to had a good chat, really good chat, gave an overview, and I got her opinion just on what she is hearing from companies coming in to see if there are any concerns around rental accommodation and securing rental accommodation, and if that's a factor or a decision that they take into account before coming over here. It doesn't seem to be at that level, which is good, I suppose. And I suppose I just give my opinion of where I think that the property market's going to be going. Again, I'm not an expert in the property market, but I'm just going with what I'm seeing week on week, where we're getting less available properties for us. And I suppose as I've said in numerous podcasts, I'd be concerned about that if that theme continues, which I think it will. Not only for our business, but just in general, the local economy here in general, which I keep banging on about, that I have concerns about. But again, that's just something that we're going to have to deal with. So that was really good. And then I had a really interesting meeting with a guy from I suppose I can't really say too much, but really interesting guy who is involved, I suppose, in investment, and is looking at the prop tech industry as well as ourselves, and looking at the opportunities there that there may be. And yeah, we had a great chat just around, I suppose, the opportunities that are there, and I suppose the market that we could be looking at here. So again, really good chat. Really nice guy. Met him a couple of times. I didn't check to see if I could use his name on the podcast, so I better not say his name, just in case. So we spent a couple of hours having a chat just about where we think things could go, and that was really, really interesting. So that was really good just to get. We've got very, very similar opinions, I suppose, and similar interests. So it's really good to be able to, I suppose, vent, I suppose, is the key word there, to him around where I see the current issues are in the market, and because it's tough. I don't generally get that because my other co-founders are also have full-time jobs. So during the day, I suppose I don't really get to have the chats with people about this sort of industry. So it was really, really good, and it was a meeting that I badly needed, to be honest with you. So just for more morale purposes. But no, really, really good. So that was really it for today. But we have our application in for a priming grant from the government, and there's a couple of little things that I've had to change in that. They've come back to me. Amanda, who's dealing with the application, has come back to me just for me to send some additional information and update some information. So just spent the evening there just looking at that, and that's pretty much it for today or for tonight. I'm going to get on to Twitter now after this, and LinkedIn, and trying to continue to, I suppose, build relationships there. And that's it. Twitter I'm finding more and more interesting as the days go by. The access you can get to people that you can't get in any other application in that way. So I'm spending a lot of time on that, just trying to get involved with conversations that are of interest to me and that are of interest to the people that I'm interested in. That might be people from companies that we want to work with, or just people, I suppose, professionals in the prop tech industry. There's not too many in the prop tech industry, so it's still finding its feet in many ways. So just trying to get a little bit of feedback that way. And I'll be doing the same. I do the same most evenings anyway, but so that's what I'll be at this evening. Tomorrow I'm catching up with a friend in the morning time, she's got a new job, so catching up with her, and we're just going to talk some business as well. That's all the meetings I've planned for tomorrow. So there'll be the usual sort of updating of properties and responding to emails, and I need to send a small bit of documentation across the IDA. I've got a to-do list that I haven't looked at really in the last week or so that I need to review and see what needs done now. And that would be pretty much it for tomorrow. There might be a couple of other things. I've set up a couple of more meetings for the rest of the week, so the rest of the week's looking pretty busy, which is good. So yeah, that's really it. I don't really have anything else. So again, thanks very much for the feedback. I'm really enjoying doing these podcasts, so I'm hoping that I suppose startup founders and entrepreneurs who are listening can relate in some way to the stuff that I'm talking about, and this whole process. If there is any founders who are listening who want to get onto the podcast, please feel free to get in touch with me. So you'll find me on Twitter at TommyC15, Instagram the Ordinary Man, and we have a Facebook page now. I have a Facebook page, The Ordinary Man, as well now, where I'm also just updating my progress as I had been before on Instagram. Or if anybody just wants to contact me directly on email, it's tom.courtney@propertybasecamp.ie. So yeah, again, thanks very much for all the feedback. All the feedback's been great so far. So I wouldn't mind hearing a bit of negative feedback, or if you if people are in a similar situation to myself, if you'd like to hear of other sort of, I suppose, practical details of things that I'm doing, or applications, I suppose, that I'm using, or I put out a really useful post yesterday just around the 10 useful applications for a startup that are free. I didn't create the post, I just shared it. So just little things like that, real practical things, I suppose, is always what I'm trying to document here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks again. Please like, please share, please tell your friends. The more feedback and exposure we get in this, the better. So thanks again, guys. Have a great evening, and we'll speak to you soon.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll